Ladies and gentlemen, today we are here to take an review of Wonder Man. Now, Wonder Man is a show on Disney Plus. I had no plans probably of watching this. And if I did watch it, it would have probably been way down the line. I mean, I had no interest in the show. Nothing about it that I heard would have brought me into watching this. However, there's a YouTube channel of a group of people who, you know, they're in a similar age bracket as me, and there's a lot of like common ground that I feel with them sometimes. And obviously you don't agree and you don't have, you're your own individual person. Everything isn't like synced up like that. Like you like everything they like. But in this particular case, one of the guys from this YouTube channel brought up Wonder Man and how good it was. And hit me because he is not the typical guy that will watch a Marvel Disney Plus show and say that. So I was like, man, I guess I got to try to watch this. If he's saying that, it must be good, right? Because he fell off of Marvel Disney Plus shows a long time ago. And so I watched it. Did it live up to what was said there on that YouTube channel? We'll get to that in just a moment. Let me give you an overview of what this show was about. Again, everything from this point of the video on could and will have spoilers. So, watching this show, here's what I got out of it. Seemed to be a show about a fellow who is a struggling actor in Hollywood, who's going around auditioning, getting small roles and things like that. Like early in the show, I think in the very first episode, he's like in a trailer. At the moment, you don't know what he's doing. It's like he's saying to himself, he's giving himself a pep talk. It's your job or something like that. It's your job. You got the job. So I'm thinking he's going in for a job interview or something, but he's already got a role on a TV show. I get a small part, and he goes in there and he's kind of annoying. And he was, I'm like, man, this guy's annoying for a guy that has a small part in a TV show. He's in there suggesting changes that should be made to the character and talking to the writers, and he's just got all these suggestions for a guy that has a small role in a TV show, and he eventually gets fired. So we establish him as this kind of struggling actor asshole. We quickly find out that there's more to him than meets the eye. He has powers. And there's a group of people who task Ben Kingsley's character, Trevor, is his character's name, I guess, to find out if he's a superpowered being. So he goes undercover to with Simon, who is our lead character, to try to get information to be the informant of this FBI secret agency type organization who's trying to get this dirt on him or find out if he is superpowered. But over time, Simon and Trevor were spending time together, and Trevor being over his family's house and seeing him struggle as an actor and giving him tips and things, he genuinely, as you can see, starts to care about him over time. And he's kind of conflicted because he wants to be selfish, because this group, this agency says if he doesn't do what they ask him to do, he's going to prison. At the same time, he seems like he really cares about Simon too. So that's kind of where the fun of the show is. To me, is like Ben Kingsley and Trevor's character. But I'll get to what I thought about the show in a minute. We're kind of giving you a kind of a general overview of the plot. So eventually, acting role, or he gets cast along with Trevor as a Wonder Man, which is his dream role. But one thing is, he has a secret. Superpowered individuals aren't allowed to act in Hollywood or in film in the US, I guess, because of a incident that happened with another alias character, alias named Doorman, who had a power where people could go phase through him and go out another. He was almost like served as a portal, his body. Like you could go through walls. If he stands in front of the wall, and people go through his body and come out the other end. Hence the name Doorman. He's like a door. But eventually, there's an accident on set where one of the guys went through him and it didn't come out the other end. And that banned superpowered individuals from acting in film. So that's another conflict, that he doesn't want his secret getting out. He wants to be an actor, but he can't act if he's got superpowers. So he has to keep this secret. And again, some of the conflicts and complications that he has to deal with in this show. If these plot points are building up, that's where the show is going, right? Eventually, Trevor's secret is going to get out, that he's spying on him. He's watching him for an organization. And eventually, Wonder Man's secret is going to get out, or AKA Simon, that he has powers. And that's where the show, that's what the show is about. That's what the big build up of the show is. We get to those moments where both of those secrets come out. So I'm not going to recap the whole plot. That's not what I do here anymore. But those are some general plot points. So now we get to the fun part. What did I think of the show? Well, when I watched the first 3 episodes, I was so disappointed after getting that recommendation from that YouTube channel. And then watching those 3 episodes, I was like, this show is average. I mean, I gave those first 3 episodes like 5s. I think it was like 5.2 to like 5.6 or something, those first 3 episodes. And I was, again, I have a 3 episode rule too that I usually go by, which is if a show doesn't like hook me in by 3 episodes, I'm usually kind of done with it. But this is the second show. Fallout was another one, season 1. That the 4th episode was the hooking episode for me. So I may have to change my rule to 4 episodes. Because if I gone by that rule, I wouldn't have continued watching this show. I wouldn't have continued watching Fallout. Because neither one of those shows got me in their first 3 episodes. And episode 4 was a departure episode. It had nothing to do with the main story, really. It was kind of a side quest. It was the Doorman episode. And it was the first episode that I really enjoyed. And it kind of gave me Atlanta vibes. Anybody that watched Donald Glover's Atlanta on FX, that's when the show kind of gave me that vibe. That it could go on the side quest like that, and it was just so good and and entertaining. That was the first episode that I wasn't kind of drifting away in. Because for me, if I get bored in a show or the show isn't really capturing my attention, that's when, you start messing with your phone and doing things like that. I would say that probably happened those first 3 episodes. Episode 4 was good enough for me to not want to pick up my phone. So that was when the turnaround happened. And that had nothing to do with the main story. I was like, the best episode in the show didn't have anything to do with the 2 main characters, really. It was a plot point to the show. It showed why superheroes couldn't act or were banned from acting, but it didn't advance the story with Simon and Trevor, which is usually something I don't like in shows when we get away from the main story. But in this case, it was the opposite. We got away from the main story, and that was more enjoyable. Then we got to episode 5, and it just kept getting better from there. The turnaround happened in episode 4, and I enjoyed the rest of the episodes. Because for me, I was waiting for that moment that Trevor got exposed. And I was waiting for that moment that maybe his powers got exposed in Hollywood or something. And that moment happened. And it was, I gotta say, it was pretty well done the way they did it. And I was pleasantly surprised how good the show was after episode 3. Because those first 3 episodes, I was like, this show ain't for me. Maybe it's just not for me. I never say a show is bad. Really? Yes, I may rate it bad, but any review, in my opinion, is sort of slanted toward the things that you enjoy. You enjoy a certain genre, you're probably going to rate it higher. You enjoy a certain character, you're probably going to rate it higher. Based on something you don't enjoy as much, you're probably going to be harder on it. And I'm not going to hide the fact that if there's certain genres that I like, and it's probably going to hit better with me versus other things. So I can't remember a show that's had this kind of turnaround with me, that started so poorly with me, thinking that this just wasn't my show or my thing. And by the end of it, I wanted to see how everything played out. I was with these characters. I started to feel things at the end, some of the emotion that the show was giving me. And wow, the turnaround for this show, it's just, I don't know if it's ever happened like that for me. So I would say the fact that I didn't enjoy it early, I think was probably because we were getting a slow burn. Those first 3 episodes. Then we got something different in episode 4, which was funny, entertaining, and well done. And then after that, the show just started to pick up and speed those plot points along that were the hooks that hooked me into the show. And I got resolutions to them. So I give, I won't get to the final verdict yet. First, let me tell you what the episode average was. So I rated those first 3 episodes so badly, so it probably drug down the rating. But the episode averaged a 6.6, which was an okay. which is on the Hexx scale, okay. And this is why we have the bonus point system in the Hexx scale for TV shows. Because if the overall story like comes together and you kind of understand why those episodes were kind of the way they were, then I can award bonus points to the show. Up to 1 point. It can't be like, okay, like the episode average is like 6.6. So if I wanted to add bonus points, the most, these are my rules, by the way, the most I could add is 1 bonus point to that. So it could be as high as a 7.6 in bonus points. No higher than that. And that's how I come up with my final score. Episode average plus bonus points. Final score though, I gave it a 7.2. I gave it a 0.6 for bonus points. I thought the show was well done. It reminded me of Atlanta in a way. And it may have started slow, but it ended with me really wanting to find out what was going to happen to these characters. And me caring about the characters. And me wanting to go on this journey with them. And I watched this show probably in like 3-day period. And after I was done with it, I was like, man, I wish I had more episodes. Because I really would like to see more of those guys. So that's how big of a turnaround it was. If you told me that in episode 1, 2, and 3, that I would have wanted more of this, I probably would have thought I was crazy. But by the end, I was missing the show when it was over and I had no more episodes. So that is it for Wonder Man. I'm JohnHexx, and I am out.